Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, the drivers of the Tobacco Road Cup Series have found themselves here in Richmond, Virginia. Yes, it's 140 laps around the premier short track in America. It's Richmond Raceway. It's a Wednesday night. That means it's the Tobacco Road Cup Series live on Racer Nexus. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mac Nelson, joined alongside by Mr. Emmett Crow. Emmett, it's Richmond, man. How are we feeling about tonight?
Feeling great, Mac, about tonight, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is going to be a great race, Mac. You know, we've seen so much happen here, and we've seen so much happen this season in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Series.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So, touched on it a little bit ago, but we are at Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. It opened in 1946, October of 1946 to be that precise about it. It is a 3/4 mile track here, obviously. I mean, it's known, man. It's known as being the 3/4 killer. Banking 14 degrees in the turns. Front stretch gonna have 8 degrees. Back stretch gonna have 2 degrees. So backstretch going to be pretty flat. It's going to feel like Martinsville out there. Front stretch, you're getting a little bit of bend too. You're getting a little bit of banking. So it's going to be fun to see the drivers out there doing their stuff. 180 laps around Richmond here tonight as we look at our season schedule up there in the top right. We are in Richmond for 180 laps here tonight, April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. Next week, we'll be going to Kansas for 135, and then we go to the Roval at Charlotte, April 15th. That's going to be for 40 laps. Auto Club after that for 120. That will get us to the chase, but we'll talk about that a little later in the night. Championship standings, Blake Cannon's going to have 497 points. Very, very close to crossing that 500-point threshold. James McRae, who was leading for a good bit of the season, has now found himself in a trailing position when it comes to the likes of Blake Cannon. Travis Everett going to be P3 in the point standings. GT Irizarry P4. Brandon Lopez P5. Well, Emmett, you're racing around Richmond. What are kind of the key takeaways for the drivers here tonight so that they might be able to be successful here?
Well, you got to manage your tires, Mac, and then you also got to manage, you know, I took a few laps in the old Cup car around here, and it's very weird. First off, they're going to be able to go 60 to 65 laps on fuel for the pit window, but it's very weird how this track goes with throttle control. And you wouldn't think that throttle control would be a big deal, but you know, I thought I could keep the throttle, but I ended up self-spinning a few times. So just manage your tires and just got to be there at the end. It's a good old short track right here tonight, Mac.
Yep, that I 100% agree with. As we take a look at our starting grid here, pole sitter going to be the 44 of Blake Cannon. In that LJG racing machine, Travis Everett, Brandon McLaughlin, James Johnson in the 48. Curtis Preston make out your top 5. Scott Matthews, GTE Rosari, Patrick Millette, Joe Bonner, James McCrae going to get you to P10. Your last 10 going to be Gary Brayland, your defending champion in P11. Nate Lesko in the 20 machine. He will be in P12. John Oliverio will be in the 42. Brad Harris, P14. Kyler Adams, P15. Chris Toppings, Chris Perry, and Cody Adams will round out your grid as we get set to race here at Richmond. Pace car going to go one more time around as we're heading into turn 3 and 4. Now it's, oh man, lights are going to be coming on. The sun is going to be starting to set. It's going to be very, very fun to see what exactly these drivers can do. iRacing official pace car going to make its way into the pits. We are green flag racing here at Richmond.
Look at Blake Cannon, Travis Everett right there alongside of him. Travis had a great run last week. Where were we at last week, Mac?
Wow, I have a peanut brain. Where were we? Homestead?
Was that Homestead last week?
Man, if we take a look at this handy dandy schedule, it would suggest that we were at Nashville, of course, Music City.
Nashville, okay.
Yeah, how
right.
could I forget? Yes. Blake Cannon still out in front in the number 44 Camaro. He's got the 48 of James Johnson right behind him. Obviously, a whole lot of stories, a whole lot of controversy coming out from the 48 of James Johnson, especially in relation to the now rebranded LJG Racing. Joe Bonner gonna own that. LNG's power washing. Big shout out to them for hopping on board with the network, agreeing to come on, get some deals done, advertise the power washing business. Oh, and that's going to be the 7 of Scott Matthews. He is going to be around. It's something we saw a lot in practice, unfortunately. Scott Matthews was having a very hard time coming out of turns 1 and 2 there, so race control, David Bush III, gonna throw that yellow. That is our first caution of the night. More to the point, LNG's power washing business card on screen there. It's been up there for a good minute. You can contact their phone, their socials, or their email, whatever you decide to do. But once again, big shout out to Joe Bonner, LJG Racing, and LNG's power washing for hopping on board the network. We'll take a quick look back at Scott Matthews here, who had a little bit of a moment there. That is why the yellow flag came out coming out of turn number 2. And yes, as soon as it transitions from being a banked corner to that flat backstretch, those tires get a little bit of air underneath them, and it can spell disaster very, very quick in it.
Yeah, it definitely can. And I mean, like I said, it's just I never drove Richmond in the sim until just a little bit ago, and I couldn't believe how hard it is to drive this track. You gotta be on it when you have to, and it was real fun though, Mac.
yeah, I do not doubt that. Now, if you're watching at home, you're probably wondering, why has defending champ Gary Brayland and most of the Quack Pack roster, why have they came into the pit lane so early in the race? Well, we've fallen on a weird time here, a weird little lineup of stuff. Our stage break tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be on lap 60, so like normal, we will have a stage break. Caution will be thrown. That's going to be our stage break. However, the fuel window is about 63 to 65 laps. So, first caution, I'm sure that was Quack Pack strategy coming out of the gate. First caution, no matter when it was, they're going to go in. They're going to have a little bit of splash of fuel. They're going to get on out of there, and they're going to make it to the end of the stage. However, that only really works and becomes a viable strategy if there are no more yellows throughout this stage. So, with it being Richmond Emmett, I think we might have a few more cautions.
Yeah, I think we will too.
As we get set to go racing here for a second time tonight, James Johnson going to be leading the way in that number 48 car. iRacing official pace car lights are going to go out. That means only one thing. They will be going green at the end of this lap. 3/4 mile Richmond Raceway, man. So beautiful. First NASCAR Cup race was held in 1953. It was won by Lee Petty, of all people. So big shout out to Lee Petty there. 1953, man. That is a long time ago. James Johnson looking to add his name to the list of Richmond winners, albeit in the simulator in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. But he's in the winner's log nonetheless. If he can get it done here tonight, we are green. 172 laps to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys stopping in. Thank you for inviting us into your home or onto your screens, wherever you're watching out on a Wednesday night. Wednesday night always means the Tobacco Road Cup Series, and right now, James Johnson putting on one heck of a show.
Yeah, definitely put on one heck of a show, and you know, it's going to be interesting. We're going to keep the camera, especially when Joseph Bonner gets around James Johnson, because the gauntlet has been cast. If I said that right.
Well, I'll be honest, Emmett. I don't think you did, because I have no idea what you mean by that. But James Johnson did just run a purple lap, so he's casting something, and I think that's just, I don't know, he's casting witchcraft or something. James Johnson extremely fast through the early portions of this race.
Yeah, James Johnson doing a great job. And now being by himself, he's a lone wolf out there, Mac. And I mean, look at him beating his former team of LJG Racing.
Yeah, there you go. You finally got it. You finally got it. Nice. Hey, I like that, though. Yeah, Blake Cannon in the 44. He's trying his best to get up to James Johnson, but there is really no gain. I mean, there is seriously no gain. Blake Cannon, for once, is not the fastest car on the track here this season. I mean, he has been killing it ever since week number 2. And, yeah, that's why he's leading the championship, folks. Blake Cannon is the driver to beat right now. You can see a lot of drivers huddling up behind him. It's going to be Travis Everett, who's wall tapping just a little bit. 14 of GT Irizarry, also part of Outsiders Racing, and the 81 of Brandon McLaughlin. He is also going to be there. Brandon McLaughlin, Emmett, who had a very, very good start to the season, has kind of fell off weeks 6 through 10. So now that we start the second half of the season, what do you think his frame of mind is? Do you think he's going to try to get back into the upper half of the grid here?
Yeah, Brandon's been having a tough season, and, you know, I didn't expect that after last year doing a great job towards the end of the season, and I thought he was going to build on that momentum. But like you were saying, Mac, Brandon just hasn't been able to produce the finishes that he's needed for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense, really, because you look at Brandon McLaughlin, he always qualifies well. He always does well inside of the race. His pit strategy is never too far off. And, you know, it's so confusing. You have these drivers over the course of history, and it also fits into like athletes of sports as well. Just athletes or drivers that never really lived up to their potential. They have every single key to be successful, and they just never do. And it seems like Brandon McLaughlin, you know, I'm not trying to cast a bad stone on him. I think he's an incredibly talented driver, but right now, as far as this season is concerned, that's just kind of him right now.
Yeah, definitely.
As Nate Lesko right behind him in the number 81. He's going to be in that number 20. Hots? Hooters car? I'm blind, Emmett. What is that?
Trying to look at it.
Hots. I think it's just Hots. Tony's Hot. Oh, Tony's Hot Fries. Oh my goodness. Wait.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be. Well, I was used to the Hooters car, so I was thinking like Hots as in Hooters the entire time. I didn't even look at the Tony, so hey, that one is on me. I'll accept that one.
Actually, it looks like a hot dog.
Oh, Tony's Hot Dogs, maybe.
Let me do some research. Hold on a second.
As Curtis Preston currently running in P8. He's down 3 spots from P5, but he's closing quickly on Patrick Millette. Patrick Millette having himself a good season here. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he didn't quite debut week number 1. I think he came in a few weeks late. So he's not exactly going to be anywhere in the championship standings, but he seems to always put together some really good results here, as Brad Harris has had, no, I think it was just a little bit of a connectivity issue. Brad Harris showed he went into the pits for just a second. So the number 9 part of Quack Pack Racing UniFirst.
So we were close, Mac. But what it is a hot dog restaurant located at 300 Main Street in 300 Main Street in Johnson City, New York.
Oh. Okay, fair enough. Shout out to the hot dog John, man. A New York dog would probably be very, very good.
Says they do barbecue also.
Ooh. A little bit of pulled pork, maybe some brisket. Maybe that's a little bit of a nosedive from the likes of Patrick Millette here in the number 8. He's going to try to fish for a maneuver on the 13 of Travis Everett. Patrick Millette, part of LJG Racing. Travis Everett, of course, always going to rep Outsiders Racing. These two drivers have gone to blows many of times so far in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. Tonight's just another installment of a Curtis Preston not wanting to be left out of it, however. He is going to try to stick to the inside of Travis Everett, and that sun is shining so bright on the exit of turn 4. I'm sure it's going to feel like ice for these drivers, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely going to feel like ice, and you're going to be slipping and sliding. It's just, so we take a look at Curtis Preston making the pass on Travis Everett. Curtis Preston, you know, ever since he got into this league, as we see Blake Hannon take the lead back, but ever since he's gotten this lead back, he's just been getting better and better each and every week.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Curtis Preston has been doing some amazing stuff on the track. We're going to go back and watch this overtake for P1. This is going to be Blake Cannon overtaking the at-time leader, James Johnson, 44 on the 48. James Johnson kind of letting that one go a little bit, maybe deciding he didn't necessarily want to fight. But now Blake Cannon, I mean, he only made that overtake about 2 laps ago, and he is already sitting at 0.6 of a second lead. Starting lap number 29, we do have the stage break at 60, so that's going to save these drivers one time. But now that Blake Cannon's out front, it might just be a case of him staying out front.
Well, and the thing is also, so you know how you're saying James Johnson let him by. It was actually Blake Cannon, Mac, that if you noticed, he got on the brakes early so that he could roll and get that corner exit speed, and that's how he was able to get around James Johnson, and he was on the inside.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great move by Blake Cannon, GT Irizarry. Actually, I take that back. I apologize. Nate Lesko and Brandon McLaughlin are going to be having a big battle here. This is going to be for P4, and Nate Lesko, who has, if I'm not mistaken, I think he took a few weeks off. Was it 1 race he missed, or was it 2, Emmett?
It was 1, because he wrecked out of the last one.
Oh, yes. Okay, so more to my point, yes, Nate Lesko has had a very bad 2-week stretch because he had to miss 1 race, and then, yes, doing bad in last week's race at Nashville. I'm remembering that now. It's coming back to me. Nate Lesko needs a very good points performance, and he needs it now. We'll pull up the points for you guys one more time here. We'll pull it up throughout the night. He is currently sitting in P9 in the championship. Now, yes, his races completed are not going to be as high as Blake Cannon's. However, there's only so many drop weeks in this league, so he can't just keep missing races and think this gap is just going to clear itself up. He's got to get to these races. He's got to get in the lab. He's got to get to work.
Yeah, definitely got to get to work. Sorry, Mac. I was looking at the weather because looking like we're about to get some weather moving into my area.
Oh, no. Well, that is not good. If you need to do anything, by all means, feel free to do it. Safety is obviously first priority here. As we look forward towards Blake Cannon here in the 44, repping LJG Racing. He, once again, has not updated his information on the driver information app on the iRacing SDK. So, yeah, drivers, if you want your information updated, you need to update that. James Johnson right behind. He also has not updated it because he is no longer a part of LJG Racing. So, very discombobulated set of information here. I know what we're telling you is different from what you're seeing on screen, ladies and gentlemen, so I do apologize about that. However, Joe Bonner is starting to get a little mixy. He's starting to get a little aggressive. The elbows are coming out. It's Chris Topping on the inside. Joe Bonner's going to try to make his... Whoa. He's going to try to throw his weight around into the corner there on the top side. I didn't think it was going to work, but I was very, very down to see it maybe happen. But, wow, yeah, Joe Bonner just not really picking the right lines right now, Emmett.
Yeah, not picking really the right lines. And the good news is, Mac, it looks like it's going to stay in the north of us. So it looks like we're going to be able to not have any interruptions during this broadcast on my side.
Well, hey, that is good to hear. Obviously, for any viewers at home watching that might be affected by this weather, we wish you nothing but the best. Please stay safe. As we see now, Scott Matthews, he had a little bit of a moment. He was the reason our first caution flag came out, and he unfortunately is just not able to find the needed pace. He's about 4/10 off. He's locking up, heading into the corner. So the RaceEPI.com driver, part of Outsiders Racing here, not having the best of luck.
Yeah, not having the best of luck. It is, you see, Oliverio. I couldn't say that for some reason, but on the outside, just he's able to drive off the corner a lot better and roll it through there than Scott Matthews. And, I mean, these two battle it for 14th. Scott Matthews, he hasn't had the best of luck in the last two races. I believe he got D&Q'd at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I do believe that is correct. I do believe he got disqualified. That's going to be a big lockup. He almost turns the 42 of John Oliverio. Oh, my goodness. That is not what you want to see. Meanwhile, just a couple cars up, James McRae battling for P10. I mean, is that something you ever expected to hear? James McRae was in P12. He passed Chris Topping's Emmett, and, what's gone wrong for James McRae?
Well, I think, I'm not going to say anything because we've seen James McRae, dominate at Iowa, dominate at North Wilkesboro. Well, North Wilkesboro, he's just in the right place at the right time. But, this is his wheelhouse, and yeah, this is pretty interesting, Mac, how we're not seeing James McRae up towards the front. But just like we said last week, wait till that final stage comes into play, and then we'll see James McRae come to life, because that's what we've grown to notice with the driver of that 27 car for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. He is probably just taking it slow. He's cooling right now, trying to make it to the stage break. He did not pit on our lap 5 caution, so he is one of those guys who is essentially stretching the car to make it work. And to be honest, the plan is falling perfectly into the Quack Pack driving or Quack Pack Racing's hands, because They pitted on the banking that there would not be another caution here tonight, and we're 15 laps away from the stage break, and there has not been a caution.
Yeah, and James McRae rocking the Hello Kitty and Friends colors this week. You know, we've seen him rock that Godzilla colors, and now he's rocking the... He needs to get a real sponsorship and endorsement from this collectible company for sure.
Yeah, man, he loves it. He loves it. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. As we look towards the top, Brendan McLaughlin is going to round out your top 5. Patrick Millette in the number 8 car representing LJG Racing. See, he updates it. He is trying to pass Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon McLaughlin, however, is going to be taking the high side here. He's going to be trying to bank on that banking to give him a little bit of momentum as he comes off of turn number 2. It's going to work out for him. He is running a 23 flat, however. Patrick Millette doing a 10th and a half better than that last lap, and here we go. Patrick Millette down on the inside. It's going to be a drag race into turns number 1 and 2. Brandon McLaughlin able to keep the momentum up because of the line that he's taken, but Patrick Millette's just going to try to squeeze by around the outside, and I don't know why Brandon McLaughlin is still trying to make this line work. You can just obviously tell that Patrick Millette is just here and getting closer every single time around, but as I say that, classic commentator's curse. Brandon McLaughlin starts to go a little faster. Now here comes Curtis Preston. He's down on the inside of Patrick Millette. Patrick Millette had a big mess up, so he unfortunately and unintentionally kind of got to drive Brandon McLaughlin's line for a corner, and he got out in front of Curtis Preston. So maybe Patrick Millette is starting to think in the mind of Brandon McLaughlin and wanting to set his car up high through these corners.
Yeah, wanted to set his car up high and try to roll through the corner. And we see that so many times, but look at this. They're almost 3 wide. Look at those rotors just glowing. I just love that as the night goes on and the lights come on and the game is on. You know, we're going to see those rotors glow a lot more. And Mac, I don't know about you, but like watching those short track races under the lights and just seeing those rotors. Oh my gosh!
Oh no, big contact. That's going to be a wall tap for the likes of Brandon McLaughlin. He is good. Then going to get into Curtis Preston. We're going to go back and take a look at it right here. And oh.
Yeah, you saw it live right here, folks. It's just Brandon McLaughlin got off the wall, bounced off the wall, and Curtis Preston, an innocent bystander, gets collected. But look at that. Travis Everett. That could have been big for Travis Everett.
Yep. That is a Code Brown moment if you're Patrick Millette or Travis Everett right there, without a doubt. So lap number 53 is the lap we're going to be on now. I'm not sure if they plan to extend this into a stage break or if we will have another caution thrown at lap 60. We'll have to get updates as we get set through this caution.
I think they're gonna let it go. I think we're gonna have another because that's what, 7 laps to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's plenty of time, Mac. It's gonna be a shootout for stage 1 though, and with all these guys getting these fresher tires, well, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I thought maybe James Johnson might have stayed out.
James Johnson has indeed stayed out, as well as GT Irizarry, Nate Lesko, Travis Everett.
Wow.
They will all be staying out. James McRae staying out. Obviously, the Quack Pack drivers, they got their pit stop handled, so they stay out. But, yeah, of the drivers who had not pitted yet, it's going to be McRae, Everett, Lesko, Irizarry, and ending with our leader here, Johnson.
Yeah, you know, just looking at this race, this is going to be interesting. Does James Johnson spin the tires once again, like we saw at North Wilkesboro, or because he's on old tires, Mac, and that's what he was on at North Wilkesboro, and it's just going to be interesting to see.
I
Sorry,
agree.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
or anything.
no. You're good, man. I 100% agree. I was going to agree with you. I think there's a very decent chance you might have nailed this one straight on the head. We'll have to find out and see. But the weather here at Richmond, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, going to be 88 degrees track temperature. So not the hottest, but it's a little warm for sure. It's going to be partly cloudy. That's going to help out a lot. 60% humidity in the air, so going to feel a bit like the Kentucky weather we have here, Emmett.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mac. I believe it got up to record high today or close to it.
Oh, wow. But like I said, we are in week number 11. We are at Richmond, 180 laps. I said 140. I don't know why I thought it was 140. 4 sets of rubber, so we are going to have only 3 extra tire sets to deal with here tonight. Next week, we do go to Kansas, which is personally my favorite oval on the calendar, but we've got a long way to go before we get there. iRacing official pace car has pulled in. James Johnson has the button. Here we go. He's not going to spin the tires. He's actually going to get off to a very, very good start. So the 48 of James Johnson, but here comes Nate. Let's go, Emmett.
Yeah, Nate, let's go. He's on a mission. He's not in the Nesquik car. He's in the Tony's Texas Hots car, and doing a great job as he's battling with GT. But here's the thing, Mac. With these two battling side by side, is they're 3 wide further back. Well, never mind. They caught up to James Johnson. Look at this.
Yeah, they did. Wow, caught up to James Johnson. Nate Lesko around on the inside. James Johnson's not going to like that. He's rubbing with GTE Rosari. They're still rubbing all the way down the back straight. It's going to be 2
and look at Blake Cannon
down for the stage. Blake Cannon is down on the inside of the 13 of Travis Everett. Wow, this is getting dicey. It's going to be white flag. Well, not really white flag, but it's going to be last lap before the stage break here. Coming around turn number 3. Nate Lesko out in front. It's a battle for second in the stage. Really, Blake Cannon not going to get it. He got him. Did he get him? I thought he didn't. I guess they're complete. Okay, I guess they're completing lap 60, though, so we just got hyped for nothing. Here we go. Nate Lesko now around the back straight. He's going to set his car into 3 and 4. Blake Cannon, he might have a run on Nate Lesko.
Oh, my gosh. I threw it. Oh, dang.
Wow. Well, yeah, that was electric for a stage end. That is for sure. Wow, I thought we were getting it on the when we came to 60, not at the end of 60. So that I kind of messed up my my cadences there, but nonetheless, that was an entertaining stage 1.
Well, and the thing is, we got to look and see where Blake Cannon restarted, because I think he restarted, what, 10th? Maybe further back since he came on pit road?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he drove up through the field in 3 laps.
Yeah, that was very, very cool to see. We're going to step away for just 1 second while we get our extended stage break here done. We'll be right back with the Tobacco Road Cup Series here on Racer Nexus.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and
my
to the
goodness.
line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. It's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
If you're just now tuning in, we had one heck of a stage number 1 here at Richmond. Ladies and gentlemen, my name, Mac Nelson, joined by the great by the great Emmett Crow. Sorry. I was going to say, if you are interested in your league being broadcasted by Racer Nexus, hit up my boss man, Rob Campbell. You can do that by checking for the Racer Nexus Discord in the description below this live stream. Also, big shout out to Apex Sim Racing, your one-stop shop for sim racing accessories, whether it be a wheel, wheelbase, pedals, chassis, sound, it does not matter. Apex Sim Racing has you covered there. Use code Racer Nexus for 5% off. Get you a little bit of your cheddar change back for your efforts. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast. Emmett, what's going on, man? What is Brandon McLaughlin got to do to win this race here at Richmond?
It'd be huge, Adam. No, I'm just joking. But it'd be awesome to see Brandon McLaughlin. But I mean, he's just got to hold him off, and it's going to be tough because that last stage, Blake Cannon restarted about 10th, maybe even further back, since there was only a few cars came on pit road. And he drove through the field back in 3 laps and was back up there to finish second at the end of the stage. Unbelievable job. So it's going to be tough for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we just see it almost every week. It seems like it is the Blake Cannon show. It's almost like it's his race, and then sometimes he just gets unlucky and loses. But it just seems like every single week, Blake Cannon is just on another level when it comes to pace here. And when we first started here, it was more of a Travis Everett show. It was more of a Gary Braylon show, a GT Irizarry, Nate Lesko show. Blake Cannon has now come in. He shifted all those eyes off those former Titans and made himself a Titan.
Well, and the best analogy I can use is, he's the league's Lightning McQueen. I mean, came in as an unknown rookie, but everybody knows him now in this Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series. Done a great job, and it's going to be hard for them to beat him for that championship back.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Blake Cannon, he didn't have the lead. It was James McRae for a little bit, but now just tells the story. Blake Cannon out in front, more than likely going to push away his lead. That has been the story for so many weeks here. James McRae only in P8, so the true colors are unfortunately starting to show. James McRae had an electric first half of the season. But I think you're right. I truly think we might just be in the Blake Cannon show now.
I mean, yeah, James McRae, if you could talk about 2 drivers, just 2, you got to talk about James McRae and Blake Cannon. But we're going to throw 3 in there, and I'll throw 4 in there with GT Irizarry starting to show some strength after his top 3 finish last week at Nashville. These guys are really building, and they keep building each and every week. And that's what it takes, Mac, to win a championship in this league.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like the Red Bull dominance, but the latter stages of it, Blake Cannon just And it's happening in such a shorter time slot as well. I mean, it's only taking place over a couple of weeks, but Blake Cannon just feels like Verstappen right now. And, you know, the other side of that coin is the other grid is catching up. Like, you can very much tell that the grid is catching up. It's just, they're not there just yet. But Nate Lesko, he's very, very close.
Well, and the thing is, you know, talking about Blake Cannon, as we see Lesko go for the lead. Yeah, Lesko has been dominant too, and I'd throw him in that hat when we're talking about, you know, real true contenders for this championship. And the thing that I want to think about Blake Cannon, I want to say, you know, you were saying Team Red Bull. I'm going to throw it back to 2020 and 2021 with Hendrick Motorsports. The way they dominated, you know, Chase won it in 2020, won the championship, and then Kyle had an unbelievable season and won it in 21. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Blake Cannon and LGE Racing is on
Racing.
LJG Racing, excuse me. It's a tongue twister, ladies and gentlemen. But I really think they're on the up and up, and they could be one of the top teams in this sport.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Joe Bonner, he does have a little bit of a string of unlucky outings here. I don't have the exact numbers for you, but there have been a couple of weeks where he has unfortunately had an early end to his race. Right now here at Richmond running P14. He's actually the last car on the lead lap, so maybe not going as good as he would have hoped, but he's got some drivers. Blake Cannon, Patrick Millette. Patrick Millette, another one of those guys. He's up there, man. He's getting to the point where he is a household name inside of the top 5. And as we get down to the chase, Emmett, it just makes me very, very excited to see who's going to shine.
Yeah, it makes me very excited on who's going to shine as well, Mac. And, you know, looking at it, remember Joseph Bonner posted his best career finish of 3rd at Talladega. So building on that, you know, it hasn't been there, but we've seen it on the super speedways. And I mean, there's still a shot that Joseph Bonner, give it a couple years, but Joseph Bonner is going to be right up there with these guys. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, everyone has to start somewhere. That's the name of the game right now for Joe Bonner. He's just got to get his seat time in. He's got to get the reps. He's got to get accustomed to the simulator. Patrick Millette, part of LJG Racing. We've mentioned him many times here tonight. He is currently being tracked down by GT Irizarry. GT, who you touched on it just a moment ago, Emmett, is pretty much Mr. Consistency here. I believe it is a podium for the past 3 weeks in a row for GT Irizarry, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, because we've definitely talked about it, you know, and we've talked about how good he's been with this group, with this league. And yeah, GT's another one that we can definitely throw our hand in there and into the hat, throw him into the hat as a potential winner.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. He's got one of the fastest cars out here on the grid. The grid's starting to stretch out, surprisingly. I mean, the leads, the intervals are not too far behind. I mean, we've got 0.6 back to James Johnson from your leader, Nate Lesko. Behind him, it goes half a second, half a second, half a second. So, not too big of a discrepancy, but when we are running 22-second laps, it is going to be a noticeable gap when you start thinking about half a second up to a second. So, for these drivers, maybe start planning for the long haul, Emmett. I mean, there's a chance we have some good long green flag runs here.
Yeah, there's definitely a big chance that we will have those long green flag runs, and when we do, it's going to be interesting to see whose car is set up for that. And like you were saying, I would definitely set that up right now, because these guys are just they're doing a great job. And you know, I'm looking, you know, we were talking about Joseph Bonner, and looking at his stats right here, he's only had, let me see, hold on a second. I'm going to continue to do some digging, Mac. I'll get back with you.
Well, Joe Bonner in the number 22. He sits in P14 as it stands right now. Nate Lesko is going to be your biggest mover of the day. I apologize. He is up 11 spots here. He started this race in P12. Has navigated his way all the way to P1, and he is doing a very, very good job. Last lap going to be a 22.29 for the number 20 of Nate Lesko, the number 48 of James Johnson. Nested in at P2. He's had a few moments outside turn 2 especially. He's had some moments where he gets the car loose, but all in all, he is looking very, very good here tonight at Richmond. And then do we even need to speak on it? Blake Cannon, the 44, he just always finds a way in victory lane. He's got Brendan McLaughlin behind him right now. Brendan McLaughlin being a pest and a nuisance more than anything, compromising Blake Cannon's lines when you're stretched out like this. The name of the game is to kind of work with the guy, get pushed up to the cars ahead of you. Brendan McLaughlin seeing it differently, wanting to fight his way to the podium.
Yeah, and just some tidbits about Blake Cannon while I was digging around. Mackie that was his 5th career pole in this league. His average finish is 5.4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, well. Very, very good results for Blake Cannon there. He is working around James Johnson. It's going to be a clean overtake. So LJG versus XLJG there. We thought it might get a little aggressive, maybe a little malicious, but the first time we see those two drivers that close together, and it all turns out okay.
Yeah, he's led 35% of this season. 467 laps is what he's led.
Oh wow!
And here's the kicker. Here's the crazy thing. Okay, he has 4 wins. James McRae has 3. I mean, they're separated. They're tied. But you got to see this. This is crazy. Blake Cannon's average finish 5.4. James McRae's average finish 4.4.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So James McRae, a little more consistent than Blake Cannon it seems, but Blake Cannon can get into the win column just a little more than James McRae. And at the end of the day, and hey, I agree with it. But I think wins should be weighted a good bit more than consistency. That's just the way I feel about it. It's kind of like the double-sided sword, or, the pick your poison figure of speech. I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides, but I like the way the point setup works here in this league. I like how Tobacco Road is ran. I do think wins should matter more than consistently placing, 4th, 5th, or 6th.
Yeah, definitely.
As we see Pat Millett here in the number 8, trying to chase down GT Irizarry. That's going to be for 4th place, lap 97. 84 laps to go. So we've crossed the halfway point of this race. We did that just a few minutes ago. And Emmett, now that we're past this halfway point, and we've only had, the few amount of cautions, we've had a very long green flag run here. Oh, yeah. What are you thinking?
Well, we said that the average fuel would come within 60 to 65, and right now, I mean, we're getting close to that window. So, I mean, do you start thinking about coming in for fuel as Chris Perry just tries to get out of these guys' way, drives it up into the wall, slows the way down? But when will you come in, Mac? When would you come in if you're a driver in this situation?
Well, I think with the trend that has been set on track by these drivers and, how they're driving each other right now, which seems to be very safe. These guys seem to be very laid back. They're in it for the long haul here. I would try to work out a one-stop strategy. Well, one stop now to the finish, I mean. So we pitted on lap 60. We got fuel. I think drivers got fuel around actually lap 58. because of the caution that came out on 57. So, yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I'm going to commit. I'm going to double down on my point as we see GT Irizarry getting past James Johnson. They have a 14 Mustang passing the 48 Camaro. Yeah, I think stretch it out to one stop. Try to make it to that 122, 123 mark. That way you're set up to be guaranteed to make it to the end no matter how many cautions we have. All you got to do is make it a few laps into that window, and you're going to be fine for how many ever cautions they throw your way. So I think main goal for a lot of drivers here, make it to 123. That is the magic number right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Thinking about this, I totally agree. So let me ask you this. We're getting down to 17 laps to go before you have to, when you said they're going to come in. So how do you manage your stuff? Because now we're getting a little spread out, which is going to help these guys. Do you try to stretch that just a little bit, or do you short pit and try to jump them on the cycle?
Well, see, that's a good question. And I guarantee you we're going to get to see both sides of that coin, because I guarantee you whatever the other drivers plan to do, Nate Lesko's going to do something else. That's his MO. He loves the alternative strategy. So I'm going to answer you by saying I don't really know, because in this sense, we're at Richmond. It's being stretched out. I think your best situation is getting a buddy. Get somebody to work with. So I think any strategy here can work very, very well, actually, to be honest. You just have to have that buddy. You have to have that drafting partner. You have to have that tandem if you want to make it, if you want to start gapping the grid and really making up some spots.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, backup listed. I'm keeping up with you, but they just said that there's a tornado on the ground about 15 miles from my current location, so I was watching it.
Oh, no. Well, hey, Emmett, man, for real, if you need to go, please put the safety ahead. Please put your safety first.
The good thing is it looks like it's going to miss us, so I got to thank the good Lord above for that. But everybody else that it looks like it's heading straight towards, praying that they're safe.
Yes,
Safely
sir.
watching, if they're watching.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree wholeheartedly. It is that time of year, April, man. The April showers and tornadoes and, you know, whatever else. They bring May flowers, but, man, are those April showers vicious. That's going to be a pass for the lead. It's going to be Nate Lesko around the 44, Blake Cannon. They're going to be battling big time here. Lap 109 of 180. Blake Cannon, Nate Lesko, here we go. It's going to all come to blows. We've got 70 laps next time by. So for these drivers, they're going to have to make one pit stop. Going to be very, very interesting to see what the likes of Nate Lesko can do. We know he loves running an alternative strategy. We know he likes going against the norm, against the meta, as some video gamers would say. At the end of the day, it is a video game. It's a simulator, but it is a video game at the end of the day. Blake Cannon in the 44, playing the video game exceptionally well here. Driving this Chevrolet Camaro. Wow. I really am losing it. You know, they say broadcasting, you start losing your marbles after a little bit. And, you know, I thought, no, you know, that's not possible. I yap so much that yapping 5 nights a week at a loud pace, or at a loud volume and fast pace, it's not going to rot my brain, but hey, here we are, man. Toyota Camaro. Next, scan it, NASCAR. Scan it, iRacing. Put it in.
Yes. But the thing is, it's not the Camaro anymore because Chevy discontinued the Camaro.
Ooh.
So we don't know what it's going to be. That's the thing. They don't even know what it's going to be, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really do the Corvette, can you? I mean, With it already being a
No.
GT3 car, it wouldn't really make sense, would it?
I was wondering the same thing because I forgot what Garage 56 is. It in a Camaro? I mean, a Corvette.
No, the garage, is it 56? I thought it was like 63 or something. Anyway, yeah, they're a Camaro. That car is a Camaro.
Camaro. Okay. Yeah, there's still a debate what it's going to be. Of course, there's the big thing, which I hope they squash about, being electric and going to a crossover body, because that ain't going to help anything in this sport, but it's having problems, and that ain't going to be the answer to it for sure.
Yeah, I must say, I have to agree. Brandon McLaughlin has decided to call his shot a little early. He's going to pit on lap 116, so he is actually going to be hoping for late race cautions in the hopes that he can have the lighter car on fuel load, but that is a very slippery slope, as we see on Sunday nights, or sorry, I apologize, Tuesday nights, with Zach Peterson in the Apex This GT4 Tuesday series, which you can also catch right here on Racer Nexus. Me and Alex Goldschmidt on commentary on that one. Alex Goldschmidt, very, very formidable legend in the community. Flying to Portugal, I believe, this week for the...
and if you...
Or I apologize, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, if you want to check out some more Next Gen series while you're watching the Cup Series, you can catch the ECRL, which a lot of these drivers actually run in only on Racer Nexus on Sunday afternoons with the one and only Mr. Adam Gladfather, and myself. So yeah, a lot of good racing, diverse racing here at Racer Nexus, Mac.
Yeah, Adam Glatfelter, another producer here
yes.
in the Racer Nexus roster. We're building a very, very good roster, man. Nate Lesko, we said it was going to happen around 120. Here he comes in, and that is going to be a little bit of fuel, or actually a lot of fuel, and 4 new tires on that Toyota Camry. Blake Cannon, we see him going through. That's going to put Nate Lesko a lap down. So with it being a short track, it's going to get a little tricky, Emmett. These drivers are going to end up going a lap down because of just how short the track is and how long the pit cycle really is from entry to exit. So you've got to be on your stuff, or you're going to find yourself out of cycle and a lap down.
Yeah, definitely going to be out of cycle, but it's going to be interesting to see how far Mr. Blake Cannon stretches this fuel run. We've seen him go back quite a few of the average pit window, and he likes to gamble, and so far this season it's paid off. I'm not jinxing him, but it has paid off for him.
Yeah, GT Irizarry going to be the first car back from Blake Cannon. He sits in P2. It's going to be 4 positions gained for him. He, however, has not come in, as well as a lot of the grid. It's going to be Joe Bonner, who is now in with the 22 Toyota Camry. Patrick Millette came in. Brandon McLaughlin, Gary Braylon, Curtis Preston, Chris Perry, all coming in. So that leaves, well, now Chris Toppings is in. So now that's going to leave 8 drivers. James McRae, one of those drivers, as well as James Johnson. So James squared right next to each other, 3 and 4. Seems to happen at least one time every single race, Emmett.
Yeah, it just seems to happen, and we see it right now. I mean, James Johnson, he likes to gamble also.
Yes, yep, I agree. Very aggressive, very, he is a very send-it driver. He is going to bring his 48 lows. Wow, that car, man. Just when the sunlight hits it, I was just speechless for a second. It just takes you back, man. Takes you back to the good old days, man. Jimmy Johnson 7-time champion. One of the GOATs, man.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, Mac, just throwing this out. There was a post on Facebook from NASCAR, and it said, if you could be the president of NASCAR for one day, what is the first thing you're doing? And I said 1,000 horsepower in these cars. But, you know, the thing is, we've seen the 750 package at a big track as like Darlington, and it was horrible. So they got to figure out something with this car. And it's just not what you want to see when the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series is topping the Cup Series with action. I mean, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I agree, and it seems like the top form of every single motorsport is starting to decay in, you know, unexplainable ways. Formula One, NASCAR Cup Series, like you just said. I mean, two leading titans in their industry, and yeah, the racing is unfortunately at a very low point as we are yellow. It is going to be James Johnson, it appears, who has gone off track. We'll have to go back and take a look. James Johnson in the 48. Yeah, he's going to slide it coming through the tri-oval. Or, I mean, it's not really a tri-oval, but coming to the start-finish. And then he's gonna overcorrect it, and he's going to end up backwards on the racetrack. So James Johnson, man, he was running oh so well.
Yeah, he was running well, and I hate to do this to you, Mac, but I'm going to go ahead and leave. It's getting pretty bad. So
Yes, sir. Hey,
I'll catch you in
yes,
2
sir.
weeks.
Yes, sir. Hey, no problem, man. No problem. Emmett, hope you're safe, man. We wish Emmett a very, very safe night. Nothing but thoughts and prayers his way. So in light of that, ladies and gentlemen, gonna turn into a one-man show here. My name, Mac Nelson. Hope you guys are having a fantastic night. Thank you guys for inviting us, well, now me, into your home here on a Wednesday night. It's the Tobacco Road Cup Series. Travis Everett, he is the last car to make this cycle of pit stops, so he is going to be good to go to the end, much like every single driver on the grid right now. Nate Lesko is going to be your current leader here. He started this race in P12. He has found his way up to P1. It's going to be 11 spots gained for the number 20 driver. Lights might go out on the pace car this time around. We'll get a little bit of a look. No, they are not. We'll go one more time. GT Irizarry, he currently sits P4 in the championship standings, but he's going to sit P5 in the race right now. He is kind of the Mr. Consistent around here right now. He has gotten podiums in the last 3 races. We've got some love for number 27, going to be James McRae, your ex-championship leader. We'll pull up the points for you. James McRae is going to be down 21 points, or I apologize, that's 19 points from Blake Cannon. Travis Everett going to be 30 points back from James McRae. And then the slope kind of starts to steepen. GT Irizarry is in 4th, but it's going to be over 45 points back from 3rd place. So that's going to be a big, big gap when you look at it from 1st to 4th. So something you know, typically see in motorsports. It always seems to be a 2, 3, sometimes maybe a 4-car race towards the championship, and it looks like you might be seeing that develop here. As I will remind you, ladies and gentlemen, we are 11 weeks into the season. Week number 11. We are at Richmond for 180 laps, not 140. So don't worry, we do not only have 7 laps left of racing tonight. We got a little more than that. Next week, we will be heading to my favorite NASCAR oval, Kansas Speedway. Very, very fun track, in my opinion. It's going to be a blast to call. Hope you guys can join me there. as lights on the iRacing official pace car are going to go out. That means only one thing. It is almost time to go green flag racing here again at Richmond. Nate Lesko, Blake Cannon, Patrick Millette, Brandon McLaughlin, GT Irizarry are going to make up your top 5. Sun is starting to set here in Richmond, Virginia. iRacing official pace car going to make its way off of the track into the Geico restart zone. Nate Lesko has the button. He's going to push it early. We are green. Chris Perry with a black flag before the green can even drop. Nate Lesko down on the inside of Blake Cannon. It's going to be a drag race to turn number 3. And we're yellow flag here again. Trying to figure out who it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry for all the random jumping. I'm not entirely sure the reason for that caution. As nothing is really happening on my end. So we'll go back yellow. It's going to be our 6th caution of the night here at Richmond. Seating capacity is just under 50,000 nowadays. They downsized from their peak years. I believe it was around 63,000 that could fit in the stadium back in the day. But they reconfigured the current shape in 1988 from the original fairgrounds layout. So I do believe that actually led to a little bit of seat reduction. So they did take a bite that way, but it did start producing a lot safer, a lot better racing. It allowed it to be to the safety standards for NASCAR, which, if you're failing safety standards back in '88, you gotta be wild. You gotta be just the most lawless track in the world. I mean, you gotta have cars like jumping into each other, fans out on track. I mean, you gotta do something. Back in 1988, they were not caring. So, Richmond, old school, hardcore, I mean, and the Mick Foley vibes, you know, if you're familiar, if you're versed in the wrestling space. But it is a little sad to see that the lights are not out yet. Typically, you see Richmond racing going down at night. You see the lights come on. The drivers are driving under the lights. It makes for really good racing because the track cools up. It's really grippy around the medium and high lines. So I think that might be why we're seeing a little bit of slow pace around the track. Drivers maybe not used to the warm track, especially where the sun's at right now. I mean, it's beating onto that exit of turn number 4. So it's not surprising that a lot of those drivers have had their mix-ups, their moments coming out of turn number 4. Lights are going to go out on the pace car. We're going to get boxed up. We're going to get doubled up here in our columns and rows. Nate Lesko going to be your leader, followed by Blake Cannon, Patrick Millette, Brandon McLaughlin, GT Irizarry. Going to round out your top 5. Travis Everett, James McRae, Gary Braylon going to be the drivers to just barely miss out on this top 5. It's been a big day for Brandon McLaughlin. Can he push it towards the finish line? It's right about now that his luck starts to strike and he starts getting collected in these silly little things. So now that we're green for what I believe is the 7th time, maybe 8th, we're going to get to see what he does. I mean, that's going to be a horrible line through 1 and 2 for Brandon McLaughlin. Unfortunately, that's going to probably be a position loss to Patrick Millette. Meanwhile, more to the point, Blake Cannon trying to get around Nate Lesko. These two have been fearless this season, as we're going to have another yellow flag. Going to be our 7th caution of the night. Chris Perry in the number 34 for Outsiders Racing. As Chris Toppings actually got around. Hang on, we need to go see that. Chris Toppings in the number 12 coming around turns 3 and 4. James Johnson is just going to almost straight line him. Oh no, James Johnson, that is not the move. As that's really, really unfortunate and really just unnecessary. On behalf of James Johnson. And yeah, you can see Chris Topping's pushing him around. He is not too happy with him. Oh. As, you know, it's just one of those... Oh, and James Johnson is going to go to the end of the longest line, I believe. That's going to be a messed up front and rear end for that number 48. So it's going to be interesting to see how he recovers from this lap number 142. We've got just shy of 40 laps to go here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series, week number 11. 20 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring up the schedule for you. It's going to be Kansas next week for week 12, the Roval, and then Auto Club. And then starting April 29th, it's going to be the Chase. Top 16 are going to battle it out for the title. We go Martinsville, Charlotte, Dover for the first half of the playoffs. Then drivers get an off week to think about their actions before they come back to Chicagoland. And then we go to Echo Park in Atlanta, June 3rd. And then June 10th is going to be Las Vegas, where we'll end it by the Sphere. By the big Ferris wheel, man. It does not get any more cinematic than that. That is truly a Scorsese scored film. As Nate Lesko still going to be leading the way here. Lap number 144. We're set to go green. James Johnson has just been disqualified. I'm not entirely sure if it was due to actions or due to maybe some defiance on the microphone. Or, I mean, something of the sort. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, James Johnson is out of the race. He's got to send it back to the hauler. As Nate Lesko gets us underway. We're going to be starting for the 8th time here. Patrick Millett on the inside of teammate Blake Cannon, GTE Reserve. Not afraid to make this 3 wide. We've got some racing done now, gentlemen. Blake Cannon in the number 44. He is going to get out in front of all that. He does not want any of that smoke. And I don't mean that in the bad way. I just mean he doesn't want to mess with any of those guys. He has got one objective, and that is to catch Nate Lesko. Meanwhile, Patrick Millett going to be on the inside of the 13 Black Rifle Coffee Outsiders Racing Machine of Travis Everett. We're going to go yellow again. This time it's going to be Joe Bonner. So kind of poetic. It went James Johnson and then Joe Bonner. We'll have to see what happened to Joe Bonner. He has a meatball flag. Oh, and just going to be a little self-spin coming out of turn number 2. That's going to be a very hard hit. Oh, no. A very, very hard hit for Joe Bonner. That's going to be him in the pits, as he is going to have to tow that machine. So our 8th caution here tonight. Richmond famous for their long green flag runs where, you know, strategy is the main thing. Tire wear, managing the tire degradation is, you know, historically a big thing here at Richmond, but unfortunately tonight, drivers experiencing a little too many cautions to be able to really get in their, you know, strategic bag, so to say, and, you know, pull out all the stops, pull out some tricks. So on lap 148, these drivers pitted at lap 120. We've had 3 cautions since then, so they are A-okay on fuel, and they're going to be A-okay on tire usage as well. I mean, unless we get a caution lap 175 or something, there's really no need to come into the pit lane 4 new tires. So a lot of these drivers, I mean, obviously it's all going to be very dependent on how the cookie crumbles here in the race, but it's a very good chance here. A lot of these cars are going to be out here until the end of the race. They're going to see the race out on this tire set. So once again, I appreciate all you guys coming out. It means a whole lot to everybody at Racer Nexus that you invite us into your homes almost every single night now. Isn't that crazy? There's a race on almost every single night on the Racer Nexus YouTube channel. We try to bring you the most clear and professional broadcast in the game. So make sure, if you do like our quality, if you like our content, if you like how we're delivering and how we're contributing to the broadcaster space here in the sim racing industry, feel free to throw the stream a like, man. It helps us out a ton. Make sure you sound off in the chat on who you're rooting for or who impresses you, or just type anything. It doesn't matter. We'll have a conversation about hot dogs if you want. It does not matter. Make sure you also subscribe so you never miss content similar to this, and make sure to ring that bell so you get notified every single time we either schedule or start one of our broadcasts. Oh man, Nate Lesko gonna get us started here. 30 laps remaining here at Richmond. Lap number 151. Blake Cannon seems to be mortal. Nate Lesko has beat him off the start multiple times here. Blake Cannon, usually the guy that gets out to these incredible starts. He has the half-second or 1 second lead in the first 4 laps of a green flag run. But none of that is present when Nate Lesko is around. So Nate Lesko, is it a commonality that he's been gone or out of the race early in the past 2 weeks? And those are the weeks Blake Cannon has really taken over this league. Is it a coincidence? Who is to say Blake Cannon's going to be hearing that? He's going to run a 21.45, going to be the fastest lap of the race. Blake Cannon down on the inside of Nate Lesko, giving a perfect amount of room. Very, very respectful driving between these two gentlemen, but do not get it twisted. Do not mistake the kindness for weakness, because these two drivers will get their elbows out. They are incredibly talented. They are incredibly fast. Blake Cannon almost boasting a 5,000 I rating here on the iRacing official service, so he is scary fast. GT Irizarry, Travis Everett, 2 other drivers that have 4K I ratings here. Very, very quick drivers here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. GT Irizarry, another Outsiders racing car. He is going to be teammates with P6 driver Travis Everett. Travis Everett having an unfortunate time here. He is down 4 spots. He started this race outside the front row. He started in P2. He has now found his way down to P6. So not what you want to see out of that driver. Curtis Preston fighting Mr. Gary Brayland. That is defending champ Gary Brayland. He runs on the very, very end of the top 10. So not his day, unfortunately. Gary Brayland not having quite the success he saw last season. He currently sits... Oh, I'm trying to find him. I apologize. Yeah, Gary Brayland sits 7th in the championship standings right now. That's going to be a little bit of a wobble from John Oliverio. You saw it towards the back of the screen. Curtis Preston getting a little wobbly as well. So these drivers starting to feel the pain of those degraded tires. Patrick Millette not showing any signs of slowing down. He is going to be very, very close to the pace set by our leaders, Nate Lesko and Blake Cannon. 21.86 and 8.1 for our top 2 guys, respectively. Patrick Millette running a 22.09, or a 21.92, I apologize. So he actually ran faster than our leaders on that lap. So hang on, LJG Racing might be getting some backup in the form of Patrick Millett. If you're Blake Cannon, that is fantastic news to hear. I'm sure they're talking to each other right now. I'm sure Pat is giving him the comms that he is fast. He will get up there here in just a second if he can just hold off Nate Lesko. Blake Cannon down on the inside of Lesko in the number 20. Blake Cannon sits in the 44. Going to be a little bit of contact between the two drivers. No harm, no foul. They're going to keep it going. Into turns number 1 and 2. You're going to be seeing that pass for the lead at the top of your screen a lot because these drivers are neck and neck. The momentum around the outside, he's getting more revs, is Nate Lesko, but Blake Cannon has the lesser distance to travel. And Blake Cannon also on slightly newer tires, so will that matter coming down the stretch here? As Blake Cannon is very, very keen on taking this position from Nate Lesko. Nate Lesko trying his best. This battling is only allowing GT Irizarry to catch up, though, so there's a very good chance that we might see a 3-car race here as we head down towards maybe a 10, 9, 8 laps to go. Right now it sits at 18 to go. And these two are still going at it. It's going to be your closest battle on track by a good margin. As you love, and I mean love to see it. As we take a look at the gap, it's going to be 2/10 back to Nate Lesko. Back from him, it's going to be 7/10 that make up GT Irizarry. So only 7 seconds make up Blake Cannon to John Oliverio all the way down in P12. So it has come to a point where if Blake Cannon and Nate Lesko get into each other, it's not going to be like the 1.5 miles. It's not going to be like the intermediate tracks where, you know, they can have a little bit of a spin, yellow comes out, they're fine, or they save it, they're still, you know, 1 spot, 2 spots down. No, that's going to be the back of the grid for Blake Cannon or Nate Lesko if they happen to mess up. Yellow flag is out. It looks like it might be Curtis Preston, yes, who's going to be turned around. Oh, no. So on lap 167, we're going to see our 9th caution of the night. We'll go take a look back at Curtis Preston. Oh, oh no, he's going to catch himself. He's going to slide coming out of turn number 2. He's going to catch it, and he almost saved it, but just got a little too much on throttle before the car was really sat back down and comfortable. And he's going to overcorrect. Oh, no. Curtis Preston, Outsiders Racing driver. And that's going to be everyone except Patrick Millett coming into the pits. They're going to get some tires put on for the shootout. Pat Millett, though, he's got a choice to make. Does he want to go in? He's got the lead. There's not too many laps left. Granted, he did also pit on lap 147. So Pat Millett has fine tires. They're only 20 laps old. And depending on how the cookie crumbles, he could be fine. Pat Millett of LJG Racing could be set up for a win here. You never, ever really know, especially in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. A lot of these drivers are oh so talented, man. And every single week we see them go to a prestigious track and memories are instantly made almost every single race in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series. Almost every single race is an instant classic, you know, like you're going to see it on Hardwood Classics when you're scrolling. When we're in our old ages, we got gray hair and we're being scammed by AI because we think it's our son trying to contact us for money. But I don't really know why I'm rambling about that, but I say it all to say these drivers, they put on one heck of a show. I mean, it's classic. It's cinema every single Wednesday. If this is your first Tobacco Road Cup Series race that you're tuning into, don't let this one be the stain. Don't let this one be your decider, man. Come back next week at Kansas. You're going to be seeing battle after battle. I have no doubt about it. iRacing official pace car going to pull in lap number 170. Completed lap number 171 being started on. It's going to be 10 laps to go. Big shout out to David Bush III, our race control here tonight. That's going to be a spin for Nate Lesko. No! And exactly what I said would happen has happened. Nate Lesko had a self-spin. He caught it. No yellow. Now he's at the very back. 9 laps to go. Blake Cannon already off to a lead. He's got a 2.5 lead over Patrick Millette. Pat Millette, his teammate, his one job is to just hold everyone up now. And that is going to be exactly what he does. He's going to pace his car to that bottom line. He's going to make you get it around the hard side. That's going to be the top side with GT Irizarry and James McRae and Brandon McLaughlin getting right by him. All in the same corner. Oh no, he looks like a Chicago Bears lineman. He couldn't block anyone. So now Blake Cannon, with 7 laps to go, has a 3-man trio of Irizarry, Brandon McLaughlin, and James McRae chasing him down. 6 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. It has been promised. Blake Cannon might just be the messiah of the Tobacco Road Cup Series. I mean, come on. The guy comes in, he just does nothing but dominate as we sit with 5 laps to go. Brandon McLaughlin in the number 81. He is going to sit in P3. GT Irizarry going to be right in front of him. 4 laps to go. As Blake Cannon already off to a 1.3 second lead. And it's just, I mean, we've been 6 laps into this cycle. He's got a 1.3 second lead. I basically said exactly that earlier on in the broadcast. I mean, here late in the race, it's just Blake Cannon's world, man. 3 laps to go. The battle for P2 is getting a little spicy between GT Irizarry and Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon McLaughlin, though, gonna hit the wall. Not good. Not good. He's got James McRae, who desperately needs every point he can for this championship. He's going to be trying to fight Brandon McLaughlin for that P3 spot. 2 sticks down for Blake Cannon. He passed by a little bit ago. We look back on him as the sun sets and beats down on Richmond Raceway. Blake Cannon comes around turn 4 for the penultimate time. White flag is in the air. Everybody stretched out a little bit. Not really any battles happening on the track. The unfortunate end to Richmond has came. And on a night where it looked like he might be contested, he shoves them all out of the way and says, no, I don't think so. Blake Cannon wins again, and this week it's at Richmond. GT Irizarry, another podium, make that 4 weeks in a row, I believe, for GT Irizarry. Brandon McLaughlin back on the right track after a stellar start to the season. He's going to finish P3. James McRae able to make it up to P4. Travis Everett going to round out your top 5. For Outsiders Racing, they get 2 cars in the top 5 here tonight at Richmond. Blake Cannon burning it down, as he so often does here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. He is going to extend his championship lead over James McRae and Travis Everett. GT Rosario is going to enter his name into the hat and get a little bit closer to this 3-headed horse at the top of the championship standings. Great day for Brad Harris as well in the number 9 Camaro for Quack Pack Racing. He's up 8 spots. Finishes this race in P6. Started in P14. As there is the cookout sign. Love me some cookout. Come on. $5 tray combo. Come on. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Even though they're not $5 trays anymore. They're more like $6.40 trays, but you know, we won't talk about that. Dang inflation. Dang dollar not being worth nothing no more. That's what my dad always says. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure a little bit of that. But enough of the yapping. We're going to get into our Apex Sim Racing post-race interview here on the Racer Nexus Network. And it's going to see our race winner up in the booth here. First, going to be Blake Cannon in the number 44 car for LJG. Blake, how you doing, man?
Doing real good. How about you, Mac?
I'm doing good. It was a slow night for a little bit here in Richmond, but once that stage break ended, it just seems like you flipped a switch and you just activated. Can you tell me about that? Like, what did it feel like? What was going through your head once we got past stage 1?
I really felt good all night on the long run, and I knew early on. I saw James; he was driving pretty hard, so I let him go and burn his stuff up, and then I ended up running him back down. And really, before that first caution, before the first stage, I felt really good. And I pitted and went ahead and got tired, and was really surprised that all the guys that didn't pit. But it ended up working out for Nate. He got the stage win, so hats off to him. He was really fast. I want to say that first and foremost. I really hate that we didn't get to finish racing it out right there, because that was a lot of fun racing with Nate. But man, sometimes you go to racetracks and they just click, and tonight was one of those nights.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a commonality at this point. You seem to be pretty comfortable at almost every single track we visit, which, funny enough, I also want to bring that up. You're stretching your championship lead here tonight. We head to Kansas next week. What can we expect to see there? Is it going to be same level of confidence, or are you maybe looking at that one with a little bit more of a stink face?
I think there's going to be a couple more guys that are going to be harder to beat there. Like Travis and GT will play a factor. John. Then you'll have Nate, of course. And James, James McRae. He'll be back to his normal form and be top 3. So I think Kansas is going to close the field up a little bit. I think a lot of people struggled with getting the master cylinders dialed in right tonight and saving tires. You won't really have to worry about that next week at Kansas. So I think you'll see a little bit better of a race. Definitely more congested, and it's going to be a lot harder for me to win next week than it was tonight.
Oh, well, I wouldn't be so sure, man. You seem to be on a roll. Just one more question here real quick. Is there any comment you would like to leave on the 48 of James Johnson being disqualified tonight? Is there anything that needs to be said there, or is it?
Man, I really like James. I really do, and I tried to take him under my wing, and teach him a couple things, and but man, it's okay to make one mistake, and hell, sometimes it's okay to even make 2 mistakes, but you can't compound each mistake on top of one another, and if you're gonna ruin your race, that's fine, but man, I don't know about a lot of guys, but me, if I ruin somebody else's race, I feel worse about that than what ended up being the end denominator with my race. Just things you can't do, man. Sometimes when you make a mistake, you just got to reset and he just drives really over his head a lot of the times. And I hate it for him because he is fast and he is a good guy, but you piss off a lot of people when you do that kind of stuff. So he had already caused 2 cautions, and then when you're in the back with this guy, um, some of them aren't on the same kind of they're not going to brake at your braking point. They're not going to get on the throttle when you get on the throttle. So it's your job, somebody that's faster, to get around them without disrupting their race. So I hate it for everybody that was involved, but hopefully, if he gets another chance, he'll take this as a learning experience and move on. If not, then I hate it for him. But at the end of the day, we're going to leave that up to the league admins. But sometimes you just got to know when to go, and sometimes you got to know when not to go.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And before we let you get out,
yeah, I just want to thank everybody at LJG Racing. Patrick had a really good run going. I know he kind of got off sequence there a little bit towards the end, but happy for him to finally show some speed and learn some things at a short track. So congrats to him, and really hats off to GT for putting in another solid result, and Brandon, he was really good all night. So, hats off to him. Really happy for him to be able to run top 3. Good rebound for Travis, and obviously James McRae. He kind of struggled all night, but then of course he's going to end up in the top 3, top 4, top 5 at the end of the night. So hats off to him, and just got to thank Joseph Bonner for all he does with the team, and everybody at Tobacco Road Sim Racing, and of course you with the broadcast. It's always appreciated.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the kind words. Everybody at Racer Nexus sure does appreciate that. So we're going to let you get out of here, Blake. It was a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in the booth, next week and beyond in your chase for the championship. Going to be your winner here tonight at Richmond, the number 44 LJG Racing driver, Blake Cannon.
Thank you, Mac.
And we did have GT Irizarry in the waiting room for a little bit. However, I believe he has left, so I'm not sure if something maybe came up or not. I'm not entirely sure. We'll give him just a little bit to get back in the waiting room if that is something he chooses to do. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and show you our results on the night. It's going to be a night led by Blake Cannon. He's going to win here tonight at Richmond. GT Irizarry, part of Outsiders Racing, going to be in P2. Brandon McLaughlin going to round out your podium with a P3 finish. Brad Harris going to be your hard charger. 8 positions in the green. Nate Lesko led the most laps. He had a very untimely demise towards the end of the race. Fastest lap going to Blake Cannon. The rest of your grid sees James McRae in P4, Travis Everett, Brad Harris, Curtis Preston, Gary Braylon, Patrick Millette, Scott Matthews. Finishing your top 10, Chris Toppings, Nate Lesko, John Oliverio, Chris Perry, Joe Bonner, Cody Adams, Kyler Adams, James Johnson. That's going to round out your grid. And then our fantastic race control, Mr. David Bush III. Going to be rounding out the grid in spirit, man. He was there. He was there. He's on the team. He's on the team. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me and my broadcast partner, Emmett Crow, who unfortunately had to leave a little bit ago, as that is displaying the wrong information. So we're just not even going to do that. We're not even going to worry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, though, I appreciate you guys coming out. Everybody at Racer Nexus sure does. We appreciate you inviting us into your home. We pray for the safety of everybody being affected by the storms and tornadoes right now. That's actually where Emmett had to go. He had to get to safety. A tornado touched down pretty close to his area. So we hope everybody involved having a very safe night. We'll be back here next week, next Wednesday, around 7:30 Central for the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series. We'll be at Kansas Speedway. It's going to be electric like it always is here. That's going to do it from us at Racer Nexus. Big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. Use code Racer Nexus for 5% off. Big shout out TrackCams22.com for the car and track cameras they provide for us. They're very, very good people, man. So if you need cameras, go check them out. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.